you
Okay,
know.
look at his career.
Okay.
He played guitar in jam sessions from the 50s to the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
Every single artist from our community. He innovated. He
Right.
played with Bootsy Collins. He played with Little Richard. He played on Motown with on some tracks at Motown. He did
Mm-hmm.
jam sessions with almost everybody. He was like the big deal guitar player in the music industry before he ever signed a deal, being a guitarist.
Mm.
But he also was a songwriter. But
Okay.
when he started putting his stuff out, he created a whole new genre of music called hard rock, right?
Okay.
Which
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
really a spinoff from psychedelic rock. That's really what he created, because
Right,
it
right.
was the Tavistock free love LSD era, and he was riding the energy of the mushrooms, and he was also one of the chiefs on the land.
Right,
So
right,
you got to watch his life, because he's whatever he do, it's going to be with the intent to give us a glimpse into how this system is after us. Every one of the chiefs that failed, that was their intent.
right,
They let you kill them just to get a message into the future. They time traveling through their death.
right, right. Jimi Hendrix is definitely a time traveler. I done seen that nigga in my real life.
Look, Jay-Z been in New York at least a couple thousand years. Somebody just mentioned you, said he ain't us, but he showed no our shit. Jay-Z, he earned everything he got, and I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm not really gonna get off into that, because that's gonna clarify itself in a minute. And a lot of the stuff they gonna find out was misinformation on purpose in order to push a narrative. But when we understand what we up against in this war, that's what makes the difference in how we survive it. And we got to know that if they left us messages from back then to reach us now, in order to tell us what to do, one of us, got to figure out how to interpret these messages.
Right, right. That's definitely for sure. I remember when I tripped LSD for the first time. I remember visibly seeing in the sky a big ass ship, and on the tip of the ship it was Jimi Hendrix holding a guitar, and he was maneuvering the ship, playing his guitar. And I remember being on the ship and just listening to Jimi Hendrix just play the guitar, because we were listening to Jimi Hendrix. And like through the psychedelic trip, it was like we were on a ship on the water, like being navigated by Jimi Hendrix's music.
Mm-hmm. So, Dr. Clark told us in one of his lectures, he said, in the tradition of our ancestors and our elders, a story don't necessarily have to be a true story in order to relay a piece of the truth. Right?
Okay.
So Dr. Clark was telling us that there's some out there, but we don't have to believe the story itself to get out of it. You understand? So that gives you the ability to understanding that what he's telling you is they told a lie. And by studying the lie, the truth will reveal itself. Right? And then if you see that it's the same lie recycled over and over, you start to see what the fabric of the lie is.
Hey, God, in the comments, they start talking about Noble Drew Ali. So, like, I want you to speak on Noble Drew Ali in this sense of the manner. What was the course of action that Noble Drew Ali took to actually make the stock market fall?
He stood up in a. Okay, so these Europeans have what they call a reading of the titles in the disposition hearings in their varying court systems, right? So they had a meeting like that in Cuba, and Noble Drew Ali claimed this land. He basically showed them the ancient map and showed them who owned what, right? But that's not the big deal.
Okay.
All right. The big deal that Noble Drew Ali is that he went into the Moorish Zionist temple in order to figure out what they were doing in secret. Once he knew what they was doing in secret, now he can put the secret out in the open.
Okay.
They call that putting all of their secrets in the public domain. That was the big deal. Them was the ones who came and murdered him, by the way.
Okay.
And they the ones who own the Chicago Police Department because they own the deed to the police. They own the, what you call it, when you own the stock. They the stockholders, the shareholders to the police departments, which are all corporations.
Okay.
So the corporation got to answer to the corporate stakeholders. They don't answer to the worker, and they definitely don't answer to the people that's walking on the outside of the fence. So they create an enclave and call it DC to keep us walking on the outside of the fence while they telling the police who to kill. See, we thinking that people was being lynched randomly. Those were strategic hits.
Say that last part.
Yeah, those were strategic hits.
Oh, okay.
We was at war. All of those that they telling us is lynchings, right? Those were conclusions of battles that was commemorated by the hanged, tarred, and feathered bodies of some of our elders.
Damn.
The reason why they tarred and feathered them because we wore the feathers around our heads to symbolize the halo. And so the tarring and feathering reminding us of our skin tone with the tar, and the feathering was talking about our headdress.
Damn, right? For real?
Yeah.
But what were our headdresses? Were our headdresses made from the feathers of luminescent pigeons and different things like that? And
no,
eagles?
Mostly they were eagles, vultures, depending on the feather.
Right, because they used to do rituals where they would take feathers and they have that luminescence on them, because like the birds that fly the closest to the sun,
those feathers you talking about come off of a specific species of bird native to the southern rainforests of Mexico. They don't exist no more. They extinct.
Okay.
I think you still might be able to look them up though.
Okay. We're not talking. We're definitely not talking about the dodo, right?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
No, it's a very colorful bird from southeastern Mexico. Let's see if I can find it.
What's the significance of the extinction of the dodo? Is it because like they want us to believe that it was just a stupid bird?
Dodo wasn't a stupid bird. They ate them all. They
They
made them an endangered species first, which turned them into a delicacy. And then they was using their other parts for other shit.
Hmm. Well, does that have something to do with like the colonizers coming to our land and then getting us to eat meat, and we weren't eating meat at first? Is there a correlation to
Oh,
that?
no, because different tribes, every tribe wasn't vegan. Look, here go the bird right here.
Oh shit! What is that?
It's called a Quetzal bird. It's from Guatemala.
Mm. And so those their feathers are luminescent in like the moonlight and shit like that.
Well, I don't know about all that.
Well, like, cause my understanding is that, like I know you've seen the video of the guy where he grabs the pigeon, and he takes the pigeon's wing and he spreads it out, and he puts a black light on the pigeon's feathers, and then it looks like an luminescent language on the pigeon.
Yeah,
You said what?
that's a racing pigeon, a homing pigeon.
A homing
That
pigeon?
Yeah, that identifies who the pigeon belonged to. It's like putting a tattoo on your dog.
What?
Yeah.
I thought the pigeon accumulated that by flying close to the sun,
No,
and the
that
light
is a
getting
stamp.
stuck in its feathers.
That's a stamp. It's a dye stamp used in homing pigeon races, and they still do it in China.
That's crazy. I didn't even know that.
Yeah. I'm trying to scan over some of the chats while we going. I got another person waiting to get in, Samurai.
Alrighty.
We gonna pick it back up later.
Yes, sir.
All right,
You
peace
got.
out. Yeah. Where she go? Where she go?
Right.
There she go.
But
I'm gonna end this one with you again. Last one cut off.
I know, right?
Yeah, but I'm starting to get tired
That
now.
would
So
be something.
I'm
Huh?
starting to get tired now. So we're gonna
I feel
chop it
that.
up a little bit.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, I had to kind of work myself to wear down because I was so wired up. Something incoming kind of on the kind of big.
Mm.
Yeah,
I feel that it's a lot of alive energy going on.
yeah, it's coming. I don't know where it's coming at. I don't know what it's gonna be. But
Hey,
some got to give.
it's simple. It's simple. The answer's so simple.
Yeah,
The answer's so simple. We all just gotta come together and do our part. That's it.
yeah. But the fact that now we got people starting to see this shit on a different level, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
like my age, we the elders now. But I got the fight of a 20-year-old,
Mm.
you know.
And that's what's so significant about this time is like all the different changes. Like to call it people waking up is like it's to me it's minimizing because it's so big. Like this is a big turn in history.
It
Like this is
actually is.
literally
I'm gonna show you so much bigger than we could possibly think. Because the celebration had a parking lot full of ships waiting on the conclusion so they could come in and celebrate with us on the grand finale.
mm,
You know, so this is a big deal Earth-wise. It's a bigger deal intergalactically,
It is.
right? But it's also a big deal interdimensionally, right?
Now, why interdimensionally though?
Because we have different beings helping us on different dimensional densities.
Okay.
We didn't start this war at ground level. They did.
Mm,
We started fighting our war at the highest realms of the spirit and worked our way down spiritually until we found a way to connect with somebody on the ground.
mm.
It just so happened that the ones on the ground that wake up vibrate on the frequency where the ones that's been fighting their way down could then take on form.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So we use what they call a collateral attack. I mean, attacking, doing two things on the same timeline at the same time on different tracks.
I be feeling it too.
Right? So while we running this parallel attack, two attacks same time, right? So they was also doing the same thing, but we was started in the spirit because our people knew that for us to maximize any victory on the ground, no matter how long a war takes, as long as we win the spiritual war, the physical war is just then based on the play out of three-dimensional responses to what happened in the spiritual to organize us on the planet to the same positioning as the victors up the ethers.
I see that. Right. Yeah, I'm right there with you. Okay.
Okay, now, once we get to that point and we start seeing it in a large number, how it work out, right? That's called aligning the crystals. And the crystals are the codons on the DNA, right? Which is made of amino acids. Right. So when you have a good amino acid buildup in your system, those mutated cells that mutated when the RNA probably broke from the other strand wrong, right? When it break wrong, it leave a little piece floating around in your blood called a free radical. But now you got amino acids, the building blocks of the DNA. So when the recombination of the RNA takes place, right, now the amino acid becomes a patch agent to fill in the broken chain on the DNA. And that keeps the cells whole so you can never grow what they call a mutagen. A mutagen is a chemical that produced when a cell is damaged. And this mutagen eventually is going to start causing the localized cells to cluster. This cluster is called a cancerous mass, either a malignant or that is going to kill you, or benign, meaning it's just a harmless growth. Right? So now, once you start understanding that you're dealing with the growth systems, right?
Okay.
Now you're looking at it like what grows? Plants grow, crops grow, children grow, pets grow. What's the similarities? What's the contradictions? And that's sending you down a whole wave of comparative analysis and scientific formulas nobody else is doing but you. Right? Because the average person don't want to do that because it's exercising the mind on a level that might wake up their God self. And this is what you call getting the God smack. When your higher self wake up and your lower self didn't do what you were supposed to do because you was a go along to get along ass motherfucker. But your higher self is a badass, kick-ass soldier of God.
Mm,
And now he finna take on this body with attitude against you
okay.
for not doing your fucking work. You know?
And that's that inner struggle that everybody feeling and going through.
W.E.B. Du Bois called it the war and soul and souls of black folks.
Mm,
You know, one side is grappling with working with the system, and the other side is grappling with being my sovereign self.
So that's kind of like how the brain's set up with the left and the right hemisphere.
They do two different things.
Yeah.
If you stop trying to stop one from doing his part and let both sides do their part, then they'll tell a different story because it'll be cleaner. Left brain logic is going to clean up the rough or cloudy areas of the right brain abstract. Right? So now the magnifying glass focusing clear as the sunlight comes through to burn that ass up.
Which is the pineal gland, right?
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
And the pineal gland activates your anterior gyrus when it comes on. Your anterior gyrus